Thank you, President. As a servant to the many different people who make up our one Queensland community, I draw the Senate's attention to the New South Wales Parliament, where independent MP Alex Greenwich introduced two bills, the Equality Legislation Amendment, LGBTIQA+, and the Conversion Practices Prohibition Bill. Both bills are anti-women and anti-children. The proposed changes include, firstly, introduction of sex self-ID, allowing anyone to change their legal sex on official documents such as driver's licence and birth certificate. These documents will no longer represent physical reality. They will show mental self-image. Men will be able to illegally identify as women and access female-only spaces, including bathrooms, changing rooms, refuges and prisons, undermining the rights and safety of women and girls. Women and children escaping domestic violence will be forced to share emergency accommodation with men. Imagine the additional trauma this will create. A recent Victorian event in Dame Phyllis Frost Correctional Centre shows the danger of these laws. A biological man convicted of violent assaults against women was transferred into a female prison. Female prisoners unsuccessfully petitioned to remove him. A wider public campaign raged for weeks before the transfer was eventually reversed. Many women in jail have suffered abuse from men that lowers women's self-esteem, and then they go on to drug abuse, drug use, crime and illegal behaviour. To TIGA+ campaigners, the mental and physical effect on female inmates from having men in with women seems irrelevant. It appears that many in the TIQA+ community believe women are only allowed to have rights that do not compromise men's rights. Secondly, fully deregulated prostitution will remove protections for prostituted persons, mostly women, as well as the wider community. While many may enter this line of work willingly, prostitution is the world's oldest form of slavery and exploitation. To remove penalty-based regulation is an insane idea that will remove the rights of exploited women to enjoy the protection of law. This is despite the global movement to combat, not foster, this abhorrent form of sexual exploitation, violently making women's bodies commodities. Thirdly, removing bans on commercial surrogacy if it takes place outside New South Wales, legalising the actions of New South Wales residents using foreign baby farms. This bill will encourage the exploitation and commodification of vulnerable women, who will be reduced to the status of a womb for rent and children reduced to products for sale. This is a modern-day form of human trafficking that's broadly opposed among human rights defenders. Now, I understand that the homosexual community want to parent a child, and the research on this issue is generally supportive. Yet allowing poor women in third world countries to be exploited for the benefit of gay couples in the West is an outrage. Women are more than just uterus owners and chest feeders. Women have the right to be protected from exploitation, not to have exploitation enshrined in law. Fourthly, this bill removes religious protections in current anti-discrimination laws. It will be illegal for religious schools to discriminate against an LGBTIQA+ person, allowing an openly trans person to apply for employment and to prevent discrimination against their employment. Religious belief will no longer be an acceptable employment criteria for religious schools. It seems that people responsible for society's moral decay see Christianity as resisting that moral decay, and therefore they want to destroy Christianity. Turning to the second bill, the Conversion Practices Prohibition Bill 2023. This bill criminalises medical professionals and parents trying to help those suffering with gender dysphoria in a way that doesn't simply affirm a person's gender identity. As one constituent, a qualified psychologist, said to me recently, if a child presents to me believing they're a giraffe, I must treat them as though they're a giraffe. In the TIQA+ world, this masquerades as healthcare. This bill ignores the mounting medical evidence that the affirmation-only approach is causing gender dysphoria, harming children through irreversible medical transitioning, leading to shattered lives filled with regret. Regrets the Channel 7 Spotlight show brought to mainstream Australia last Sunday. Women's Forum Australia has launched a campaign to protect women, children and our community from these harmful measures. One Nation supports that campaign. Every person deserves respect, equality and care under our laws. Alex Greenwich's measures are counterproductive to these principles. In 2023, women are becoming invisible handmaidens, servants, with their identity as women being taken from them. One Nation stands opposed to this anti-human agenda.
Your time has expired.